Okay. Okay, we're live. Okay, we're officially starting the program now with whoever's here, and hopefully as they come, we'll have them join in. So I've never done this as virtual breakfast networking group before, so we'll have to figure this out as we go along. But I figured we can do the same format like we do all the time, obviously without the food, or if you have your own food, enjoy it. I don't know if your rooms that you're working out of are Pesach cleaned or not. But if they aren't, enjoy your breakfast. I have my tea right here, and I'm going to enjoy it while we talk. I guess what we'll do is, this was my idea, we'll go through everybody who's here. Everybody will do their quick introduction of who they are, what they do, and then we can get to the main program with our presenters. So with that, I don't have any particular order. I'm just going to go by the order that I have it Zoom here. So we'll ask everybody. We don't have a sponsor this time because there's no breakfast sponsor, so we're not going to have that quick presentation. And the idea is hopefully at 9:15 or 9:20 we'll have the either right around 9:15 or 9:20 we're going to get to the main program, which will go to hopefully around 10. And we can also get questions as well at that point. So without further ado, let's start on the top. I'm going in the order that I see it in Zoom here. Barry, why don't you do your quick introduction of what you are, what you do. And I guess another thing we can add, since right now we don't have that many people logged in, everybody can say what they're doing in this business climate or what they need help with. Maybe that can also be something that we can add on, being that we don't have as many people as we normally do on our on our regular events. So Barry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Barry Ackerman. I founded a small firm called Supportive HR to provide outsourced HR services for small and medium-sized businesses, providing a strong infrastructure to provide compliance and maximum productivity and peace of mind, especially in these turbulent times. It's more valuable than ever. However, I will say, before we even get too far into this, that the new laws that have been passed in the week or two, I am not going to claim to be an expert on those, but in a lot of other HR areas, which are relevant in general other times, and also today, more so today, I certainly am very eager to help as many small businesses as possible as we get through these challenging times.
Thank you. Barry, can you please put your name and your phone number and email in the chat? Everybody who introduces themselves, that's like our virtual business card or your LinkedIn link, or whatever, any other contact info that you want to put in the chat to everybody. Then I guess whoever's speaking, just put your name and your information in the chat to everybody, and that way anybody who wants can copy it. Okay, next I have our next presenter. That's in my next order on my list, Chaim Book. Chaim, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for getting together this morning. This is not my first Zoom meeting, as you can imagine. We've had a lot of Zoom meetings talking about the coronavirus and its impact on businesses. I'm a lawyer. I practice employment law. And other than emergency health workers, I think employment lawyers are the second busiest category of people out there because the new laws have been passed in a very, very fast and unfortunately not well-written manner. So our team has been spending many, many hours studying the new New York, New Jersey, and federal laws regarding unemployment, regarding benefits, regarding paid time off, regarding family leave, all of which has been changing very, very rapidly. We have one team member who's been studying all of the new provisions for financial relief regarding the loans and grants that are going to be made available. And hopefully by weekend, we'll be experts on that too. I hope there are not too many questions on that because I have very basic knowledge of those laws right now, but the employment laws, if they're doing nothing else past 3 weeks, I have a pretty good, if not expert knowledge of those. So we've been spending a lot of time really studying up on these new laws, advising clients, taking lots of questions via phone calls and emails, it's a challenging time for everybody, and it's I have to say it's very emotional. Also, it's not easy telling people, yeah, go ahead and fire 50 people, go ahead and fire 25 people, and put them on furlough and let them collect unemployment. So Hashem should help us through this difficult time. And all the sick people should get healthy, and we should all get back to some type of normal life.
I mean, Chaim, please put your contact info in the chat on the right. Okay, Jonathan, you're next. We can't hear you. Can't hear you, Jonathan. Make sure your mic is on. On the bottom left, there's a mute icon. It's showing that you're not muted, but we can't hear you. I'll find. I'll come back to you. Hopefully, you'll fix the issue with the sound. Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna skip Chaim, and we're gonna skip Jonathan, and can come back to him when we can hear him hopefully again. Okay, next we have who is Samsung SMG955U. Whoever you are, please identify yourself, or we'll skip to the next person. Samsung SMG955U. Okay, we'll skip to the next one. 347-203-4565 on the phone.
Mark Hertz.
Mark Hertz, welcome.
Mark Hertz Company, handle violations, consulting, etc. First time on Zoom, so I'm a little novice. I spoke with Chaim Book quite extensively. We handle violations in New York City. Yes, all New York City agencies are basically closed, except if you want to pay penalties, because money they'll always take. And we're struggling as to how to make it through Corona and hold on to employees with 25 people in my office.
Yeah, I got it. Mark, if you could please post. You're on the phone, so you can't post your information. If you can, if you have my, I can post it for you. If you give me, if you could email it to me or text it to me, I'll post it in the chat as well.
Okay.
Okay, you can post it on either on the WhatsApp chat or on my send me an email. I'll put it in the chat for everybody. Okay, we have next Isaac Smai. Tell me, I don't know if I pronounced your last name correctly, Isaac. Shmai, right?
Yes, it's only my legal name, Isaac Shmai. My Jewish name is Pinchas Shemaya. Yes, my name is Pinchas Shemaya. I am a professional EOS implementer. So what I do is I help people get what they want from their business by providing them with a complete set of simple, real-world, practical tools, which will help them basically with three things. We call it vision, traction, and healthy. So vision is getting you on the same page with your leadership team, where you want to go and how you want to get there. Traction is no matter where you want to go, still discipline and accountability. So everybody is executing on the vision day in and day out. And healthy is just make you function as a healthy, cohesive team who loves to spend time together. And as goes the leadership team, so goes the rest of the organization. So in the end of the game, you'll see everybody is on the same page with your vision, functioning with much more discipline and accountability, and working together as a healthy team. This is what I'm doing in general, and it starts with a free meeting, whoever wants to take on that. But for now, I'm just ready to help everyone in this group, and you can spread the word. And not always I'll charge money. Don't think about if you're now tight or short with that. I'll like just help you with one-on-one coaching sessions, just a listening ear, a short issue solving meeting with your team. I just want to try to help as many people I can weather this storm. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, since you can't post your information into Zoom, send me a text or a WhatsApp. I'm sorry, email or WhatsApp, and I'll post it as well. I just posted in Mark Hertz's information that he just sent me.
I think I can post it.
Oh, excellent. So go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay. Next we have again. If we can just, now that we're getting more people on the line here, I want to get moving with the program. So if everyone could limit their presentation to about a maximum of, let's say, 15, 20 seconds. Next we have on my list is Marty Boltax. Marty, go ahead.
Okay, my situation is a little different than everyone here. I'm dealing with people who do not use the internet, and so I'm sort of in a bit of a bind in terms of addressing their needs. And so I'm using this basically in some type of a planning execution type of mode. I'm emailing information to individuals and trying to come up with some creative scenarios to assist them while still having very limited communication capabilities with them.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, again, if you can post your information in the chat. Pinchas Shmaya, please post. Oh, I see you're posting your contact information. Very good. Okay, next we have straight from New Rochelle, we have Chaim Moskowitz. Go ahead, Chaim. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. Chaim, go ahead and unmute yourself. Actually, can't hear you, Chaim. I'm just messaging you in the chat. Chaim, we can't hear you. Give another few seconds and we'll come back to you later. We can't hear you. We see you, but we can't hear you. On the bottom left, there's an icon that says mute. Make sure that's not checked off. Make sure it's not like there's no like red line going through it. Make sure you're unmute. Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay, we have to come back to Jonathan and to Chaim. We'll do that at the end. Okay, next we have Hugh Jacobson. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, Hugh Jacobson, a CPA and a tax attorney. Fielding a lot of questions from people about rebates and filing deadlines, and in the last day or so, a lot about this paycheck protection program, which are basically small business loans that are fully guaranteed, and if used for the right purposes, forgiven. So if anyone wants to talk about that stuff, feel free to reach out to us. I'll post my firm's info.
Okay, thank you, and please post your info. Next, we have Chaim Saperstein. Chaim, go ahead.
I run the front. Our situation.
Chaim, one second. Chaim, you're going in and out. Just start over again.
Okay. Hi, I run the Front Page magazine. Our situation now with the retail stores closing down, we have a tremendous lack of foot traffic going on, so we're looking to increase our institutional clientele. So we're looking for help with that. We have worked on keeping our distribution up because they're being given out in all the orders at Evergreen, and that's what's going on with us. So we're looking for people who still benefit from advertising to the Monsey community to send in their ads to ads@onthefrontpage.com. And I appreciate that.
All right, thank you, Chaim. Please post your information in the chat of your contact info. Okay, next we have Label. Label, go ahead. I'm going to unmute you.
Hey guys, how are you? Label Schwartz. So nice to see everyone. Thank you so much for giving the class. We're photographers helping people when you can see human beings show who you are on a digital platform. Thank you guys again.
All right, thank you, Label. Label, go ahead and post your information in the chat. Label, we all know what you look like. Everybody's seen you many times. So, but post your information in the chat. Okay, next we have, let me see who we have here. Michael Schucht, go ahead.
Good morning, Michael Schucht, Schucht Bookkeeping Services. I'm a QuickBooks specialist and a QuickBook Pro advisor. For me, as unique as this time has been, I've been busy all the time because I'm actually working from my computer as I've been doing before. Many of my clients still need to have their bookkeeping done and be ready for taxes, even though some of it's been extended. And I've had some new people come to me who need help getting their stuff on QuickBooks, because you'd be surprised how many people don't have anything on there, and they need to get posted as quick as possible. So I'm still doing what I do. If you know anybody who has QuickBooks, needs help, or they don't even have an accounting software and need to be put on QuickBooks, I'm the guy. Send it to me, and I'll post my stuff on the side.
Thank you. Go ahead and post your information in the chat. David Shuck, go ahead.
David Shuck, CVR Computer and Office Supplies. Thank God 70% of my accounts are healthcare, so they've been running at full force. I wish I had more sanitizing wipes and stuff like that in mass, but thank God we're shipping nationwide, and I would say 70–80% of the business is still running, and hopefully the economy will come back in another month or two. David Shuck, I'll post my stuff.
Thank you, David. Okay, Mendy Wolf. Mendy, go ahead. We hear you, but I mean, let me unmute you. We don't see you, but we hear you're logged in here. Mendy, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I have a bloody nose and got a tissue sticking out of my nose. So, yeah, I work for a law firm, and we are still functioning as usual. We're a corporate law firm, and something that we're doing a little different now is we're offering free legal consultations over the phone. Anything we can help with over the phone, we're offering for free. We understand that it's a trying time for everybody, and there's a lot of businesses that are struggling, and a lot of business owners and employees that need legal advice. So if you or anyone you know needs some legal advice, have them reach out to us. Again, free of charge, anything that we can help with over the phone. But in general, we do a lot of what Jonathan Schluss does, except we mainly stick to New Jersey. We happen to handle New York, but if you need New York stuff, first go to Jonathan Schluss, and then if he can't handle it, then call us.
Thank you, Mendy. Go ahead and post your information in the chat. We're getting through the list here. We're almost done. Marty Boltax, go ahead.
I already talked. You hit me already.
Oh, you ready? Okay, sorry about that. You came up again on the top. Okay, Yitzi Pariser. Yitzi, you're on. Let me unmute you. Yitzi? Yitzi.
How's it going, everybody?
Good to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Okay, what am I talking about? I work for Heshi. We do websites, web strategy, LinkedIn training. A lot of people have to go virtual now because the retail space is shutting down. So if you're looking to upgrade your websites and to upgrade your digital footprints and your LinkedIn skills, well, then give us a call. We'll help you out with that.
Thank you, Yitzi. You can post the information in the chat. Okay, let's get back to Barry, who had an issue before. Let's see if he's not Barry. Sorry, Chaim. Chaim, we couldn't hear you before. I'm unmuting you. Let's see if you can speak again now. You still have laryngitis. Okay. Okay. Chaim, feel free to post your information in the chat below. Hopefully, if you at the end, maybe we'll see if we can get it taken care of. Jonathan, let's try you again now. Let's see if you can talk now. You still can't talk. Okay. Okay. It's good to see both of you at least, and I'm glad you can interact with us in the end. Both of you, if you can post your information in the chat below, just mention what you do quickly as well, so that way we'll have the information there. Okay. Next we have and myself. I'll just I think I'm the last one here. If there's anyone who I didn't mention, send me put a message, send a message, or raise your hand, or just shout out. Okay. I'm Heshi Friedman. I run Radio Creations. We do website design, web strategy, LinkedIn, consulting. Right now, our big focus is trying to get businesses that want to virtualize. They want to have online forums that work online, because a lot of the brick and mortars now are struggling if they don't have any online strategy. It's a changing world. So we're here to help companies virtualize. Get bring a lot of their operations online and streamline through the website. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Oh, Chaim, here you are.
I'm sorry. First of all, I apologize. My settings were set from DOF this morning, so I had some technical settings that I organized, and I forgot all the different switches that I set. So first of all, good morning to everybody from the Rochelle. We've been in quarantine for 4 weeks now. Thank you.
Wow.
And Baruch Hashem, things move on. My company is at Infinitum, the calendar warehouse. Most of the time, people associate what we do with marketing companies.
Okay, the important part is not.
Ultimately, it's really just getting a client's message out. In this environment, the client's message has shifted from either marketing their company, but in the healthcare area, it's shifted to safety, which means safety garments, ID garments, signage for washing and for sanitation, for sanitizing, etc. In the trucking industry, it's shifted to thank you to drivers and to everybody who's putting in all they can in this environment. So all it takes is a little bit of a mind shift in terms of what you're trying to get your message out with. And that's what we've been doing for our clients over the past 3 weeks. Thank you, and off to you, Hershey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chaim. Please put your information below. And you should know I've been using your Spritz alcohol sanitizer in my car. So thank you for that. It's been in my car.
Those who ordered in time, fine, because we cannot get them anymore. There's not a hand sanitizer in the country that we can imprint at this point.
Right. Okay, Manny, I see Manny just came on. Let's give him one, Manny Longer, before we go to the main presentation. Manny, you were the last one. Go ahead and give your quick spiel. Oh, and then we have David Kogel. Manny, are you on? Manny,
yes, hi, good morning. My name is Manny Longer. We do payroll, HR, and employee benefits.
Okay, go ahead.
Hopefully
That's quick. Put your information in the chat, your contact info, your virtual business card, and David Kogel. Welcome. You are. I kept on saying the last one, but go ahead and give your quick spiel and what's going on with the current environment in 15 seconds, and then put your information in the chat on the right side. We can't hear you, David.
Good morning. I got it. Okay, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. David Kogel from Sterling National Bank. We are not doing SBA loans now. No one is doing SBA loans now. The SBA isn't doing loans now either. So just keep watching my LinkedIn posts. I'll try to keep everyone posted when the SBA really will be giving out loans. In the meantime, we're just keeping everyone's money safe and sound, and that's about it. Weather the storm. I hope everyone is doing well.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Please put your information in the right side below. And okay, we're about to start the main program. I just want to add from my personal takeaway from this, one of the things that are going on, like David said, that businesses are not, it's a time to build relationships. It's a time to build strategy. That's the idea right now. So that's what we're doing as well. So just, keep your relationships going, because, hopefully this won't last forever. And then we'll have we'll have those connections that we can do business with. Okay, so I'm going to put on the speaker view Chaim and Barry. We're ready to get started. So go ahead and let's get the program rolling.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, Heshi. So we're supposed to have a dialogue between myself and Barry. So we'll try to accomplish that. But I'll start off with some introductory remarks. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's a difficult and challenging time for employers, for employees, in terms of figuring out what's the best strategy and what people can actually how they can continue to pay their bills and how they can continue to be employed. So unfortunately, at this point already, many businesses have opted for furloughing their employees. The word furlough is essentially a nice way of saying temporarily terminating. And businesses that have furloughed their employees because they're completely shut down or they're partially shut down, then they can at least know that for the most part their employees are going to be collecting unemployment at the highest levels that I've known in my lifetime. So the benefits right now have been enhanced by the latest federal legislation. So that's making life a little bit easier for some people. The actual amounts have not been adjusted yet, but will be adjusted in the very near future. So for those businesses, most of the questions that are coming up are not really that relevant, because they've already let those employees go. What people may not be aware of is that if you have not made that decision yet, you've not taken action, that there's another option. You don't have to let everyone in your company go, or just keep one or two people and let everyone else go. You actually could put people on a shorter schedule, You can, for example, you have someone working 40 hours a week, you can cut their time in half and tell them sorry, but the way it is right now, there's just not enough work to keep everybody busy full time. And those people will actually be entitled to, and if you tell those people essentially you are on a part-time furlough, those people will actually be eligible for unemployment benefits or partial unemployment benefits. So in the example I gave, where you cut someone from 40 hours to 20 hours, those employees will actually be able to file for unemployment for a 50% benefit, or whatever the total benefit is. So that's also a good option, rather than letting many employees go to try to minimize that. But for everyone else that is continuing work, if you're an essential business, and there are many businesses that are considered essential businesses, then you need to know about all the various leaves that are paid leaves that are available for your employees. And for those who are working remotely, it's the same thing. If your company is continuing to function remotely, then you need to know about all the different scenarios that may come up in which you have to provide leave. So before I go into any detail on that, I wanted to turn to Barry and say, Barry, what are the top issues that you're seeing come up these days?
Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you, Heshi, and thank you, Chaim. Yeah, I would echo some of that. I would also just point out, along with the same lines of Chaim, unfortunately, a lot of companies have had to make that decision of laying off or furloughing employees, and it's obviously a very, very difficult decision, especially for many of the clients that I work with, and I'm sure Chaim and most of the attendees here. Pesach is coming, and we all know that's the most expensive time of the year. This year will be a lot less expensive because I think there will be less extra shopping for all the new clothing, because you don't really need to show off so much new clothing to your other people living in the same house as you. So at least we can save on that. But it's a very difficult time. It's a very sad time. It's a very stressful time. But I think it is encouraging, and people should hold on to the encouragement that people are offering help, as we heard other people mention on this call already, at no charge. I heard it more than once on this, just going around the room, so to speak. I heard more than one person say, phone calls, advice, no charge. We want to help as many people as we can. And that's really a wonderful thing. People are really, really coming together, really stepping up to do what they can for each other. And that's something to hold on to. One thing I would stress for business leaders, whether you're a leader because you are an employer or you are a leader because you are servicing other companies, it's important to have strong leadership, especially in times of crisis. Without getting too political, in times of crisis, we see how different leaders act in times of crisis, and that's really how leaders define themselves, right? That's how they are defined by their followers or those around them. So it's important to be a strong leader. That means strong communication, clear communication, and honest communication. As someone said to me in a previous conversation, when I mentioned, like I said before, and it's interesting, Chaim said the same thing, and I think those that are really heavily involved will say that this legislation has come out at lightning speed. All the different legislations that have come out. I've never seen things come out of Washington at anywhere near the rate they've been coming out. And it's very difficult for anyone to really get a grasp on it, because I don't think even Washington has a grasp on it. But people are doing the best they can, saying, listen, I don't know all the answers. At this point, there are a lot more questions than there are answers. But the point of strong leadership is to be honest. And as someone said to me when I said I don't have all the answers, he said to me, well, you can say the things you don't know, and anything you don't know, just make it up. So some leaders do that. I choose not to. But, as Chaim said, a lot of companies have already made the decisions that they just can't continue to go on. And as someone else mentioned, I believe it was David said, the SBA loans, they're not ready yet. They're not happening yet. So companies need to slow down, not make rash decisions with the misinformation that they already have. Wait to get good information. I would hate to see, somebody asked me already 2 weeks ago when that first piece of legislation came out. The next morning they said, well, why don't I just go borrow $20,000 and then I can pay my people, I'll get it back. I said, slow down. Don't go borrowing money before you're really sure you're gonna be able to get it back. I would hate to see you put yourself in a spot where you think this is gonna work out the way you have it mapped out in your head, and then God forbid in a month or 2 months or 3 months, and things become more clear, you're on the hook for that $20,000 loan because it's the tax credits either you're not going to be eligible for, or they're not going to cover that loan that you took out. So I urge employers, take a deep breath, slow down, try to become as smart as you can from the best sources that you can before you make any rash decisions.
That's terrific advice. Yeah.
Thank you.
The other questions that are coming up are because obviously, anyone who's following the news knows that the federal government did institute new legislation that provides for paid sick leave. So that is a hot topic. As a matter of fact, today's April 1st, and the new law is going into effect or has gone into effect today. And so I think it's important to recognize that, as I sort of mentioned earlier, which is that if you're in business and your business continues, whether you're an essential business or whether you're doing your business remotely, then this is not an excuse for your employees to come in and say, okay, it's paid vacation time. These categories were very carefully thought out, and they cover the most common scenarios, and they're designed to provide benefits. So, for example, if a person is sick, if a person is sick, obviously you don't want them to continue working. You want them to get themselves back to good health. So a person like that is going to get 10 paid sick days under the new federal law. And when that is when that's done, so 2 weeks from now, if the person is still not recovered, they'll be entitled to whether it's disability insurance or paid. If it's in New York, it'd be paid family leave insurance, or in New Jersey, it would be similarly a family leave insurance. So that that it's good that those mechanisms are in place. At the same time, one has to be aware that these new paid sick leaves that are being put in, are intended to be reimbursed, so to speak, by the federal government in the form of payroll tax relief. And your payroll company, we have at least one phenomenal payroll provider on this Zoom call, in Manny. But whoever's doing your payroll, will be able to help you along with that. Your accountant will be able to help you along with that. So there's some relief there. But I think that one has to be sensitive to the fact that besides the obvious where a person is sick, there are other categories as well which would provide for some type of benefit. So another scenario is if someone, God forbid, is looking after someone else in their family who's sick, that also could be a category that would require leave. If a person has children home from school, and unfortunately where we are right now is there is no school, so all children are home from school. So if the person doesn't have any way of having someone else look after their children, and simply cannot work because they're looking after children, then that's also a person who is in this category of able to get a certain amount of relief. So, as I said, the legislation is designed to make it, to create a situation where people who simply cannot work for the reasons relating to the coronavirus are able to have some relief in the form of 2 weeks, or I should say 10 days of paid leave. And in certain circumstances, an additional 10 weeks beyond that. And as I said, the intention is to make folks whole by allowing them to take payroll tax credits to be able to afford that. So I know there've been a lot of questions lately. I don't know whether this is a good time to take questions. I'll turn it to Heshi to make that determination.
I mean, whoever wants to do questions now, we can take questions now. If there's anything related to the specific content, or we can do after. Go ahead, Mandy.
Again, thank you, Chaim. Thank you, Barry. Just had a quick question. Sole proprietor. My wife works from home and she does hair and wigs. And business has definitely gone down due to coronavirus. And separately, my kid's home all day, so she's definitely not able to work at full capacity, especially with him. Can she benefit from this, from these laws?
That's it. If you don't mind, Barry, I'll jump in on this one. So it's a great question because so I have been getting questions regarding independent contractors, business owners, 1099s. Are they going to be eligible for any type of benefit? So Governor Cuomo was the first one to jump in on this one and say he wants to see everyone who's not working get unemployment, and then promptly did nothing to change the law. And then the new federal legislation from last week did change it so that independent contractors are eligible for unemployment. However, that has not technically been put into effect yet. Right after that legislation passed, the next thing we saw from New York State, at least, so I can't tell you with respect to New Jersey, but the next thing we saw with New York State was they sent out this really nice handy-dandy chart, who's eligible for unemployment. And pretty much everybody is eligible for unemployment, according to New York State. Apparently, they're not turning anybody away. So we've been advising anyone, if they're in doubt as to whether they may be eligible for unemployment, go ahead and file. Because according to New York State, if you're an independent contractor, if you're a business owner, and either you're not working at all, or if your business is down very significantly, very likely that you will be approved for unemployment. I'll give you some caution on that, though, which is, as I'm sure you've imagined or you may have heard in the news, that the numbers of people who have filed for unemployment in the past 2 weeks is just, record numbers. And so it's a very long wait to get an appointment. You have to have a phone appointment in order to be able to qualify, because there's some basic questions that they have to ask you. So there is a long wait. I believe that they've split it up alphabetically so that to make it a little bit more manageable, but it's a very long wait. Almost like
well, my last name is Wolf, so.
I think today's actually your day, because I think they take the first third of the alphabet on Monday and the second on Tuesday and the third on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday are free-for-alls.
It goes based on first name, not last name. It's based on first initial, not last name.
Well, there you go. Okay, interesting. But in any event, it's certainly if you are an independent contractor, or if you are a business owner, and certainly if you're completely not working. I mean, if they will ask you to what extent you've been working and to what extent you have work coming in. So if you're completely shut down. But even if you're not completely shut down, as I said, it can hurt to, if you have the time, you're willing to have the patience to go through it, you may as well file.
Can you share that notice?
Sure.
From New York saying that independent contractors may be eligible?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
And if it's, Chaim, thank you so much, Barry. And if a person, as a business owner, meaning that is not laying off employees, so, but there's still nothing going on, meaning we would apply for, as a business, on it, like if there's nothing happening, and then continue to pay our employees? How does that work? Or is that only for an independent contractor?
Well, what came out of Albany specifically mentioned independent contractors. I mean, we've sort of taken it to the next logical step, which is a business owner, probably a business owner who has no employees and no business going on and isn't paying anybody. That person, would likely be eligible for unemployment. If you're a business owner, you continue and your business continues to function, but functioning at a loss. Hard to say as to whether you'd be eligible or not. As I've been saying all along, can't hurt to file, but I'm not sure that person would be eligible. The second part of this is, as Duffy had mentioned, I think someone else had mentioned, we're hoping that the financial relief in the form of loans and grants, that's going to happen at some time very soon. They say it's going to be very soon. When that kicks in, as I said, I'm not quite an expert on this yet. From the details that I understand, that there will be opportunities to get loans, both interest-free, low-interest loans, loans that are forgivable in part, loans that will have to be paid back over time. There will be grants of all sorts. If you're operating in New York City, there's a separate New York City package for this, and as David mentioned, there's the SBA portion of this. And all of these programs are designed to keep businesses going. I mean, that's the intention. The intention is to try to help businesses keep going. So if you can get financial relief from that and can keep your business operating, obviously, you know, that would be a phenomenal outcome.
Thank you.
Let's continue with the program, and then we'll do more questions after, so we don't lose track. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more questions, but yeah, let's Barry, why don't you go ahead and continue?
I was just going to share some other things we wanted. I know someone, I know David's been waiting patiently, but I hope we'll come back to him. I got my eyes on you. But I would just share a couple work from home tips, because the companies that are still working, everybody's working from home pretty much all over the country at this point. And it's important to have proper infrastructure in place for your employees so that you can ensure that you're getting the productivity that you need. You may have to adjust your expectations from what they had been when everyone was working in the office, but there certainly should be expectations in place, clear expectations. Each employee should understand what is expected of them, whether it's time logged, which, by the way, everybody absolutely should be tracking their time working from home, even if it's an hour or 2 hours here, and then they take a break for an hour. They need to be clocking, they need to be tracking all of that time, whether they're exempt employees, for sure if they're non-exempt employees, but even exempt employees should be tracking their time when they're working from home. The expectations, productivity is probably going to be more of an emphasis than on the time spent for a lot of employers and employees, but that's a good thing. And I do think there's going to be a shift even after things settle down and people are allowed to go back to the office. I think companies are going to see that we were able to adjust to this new work from home model, and I think we're going to see it take off even more than it did before. Obviously, it's become a thing for a while already, and this forced the whole country into it, and I do believe that a lot of companies are going to shift to this going forward. There are a lot of cost savings involved. You don't have to pay office rent. You don't have to buy coffee for everybody. You don't have to buy toilet paper for everyone. That's a big thing nowadays. You know, there's a lot of savings in having employees work from home. It'll be a lot easier for people to work from home once the kids are back in school. But I think that's something we're going to see a lot of companies shifting towards. So in order to do that, which people are already doing now, you need to have clear goals. You need to have infrastructure. You need to have the right technology. Which means you have to make sure that your people have a good computer at home. It's actually a question that people ask as an employer: do I have to buy a computer for my employees if I want them to work from home? Do I have to pay for their internet service? Do I have to whatever else? The basic answer is, if you want them to work for you, you have to give them the equipment and supplies to do that. So that does not mean you have to buy them coffee when they're working at home. But if you want them to use a computer to do their work, then yeah, I would suggest that the company buys them a computer. It also gives the company a certain amount of control and security, which is a big issue. You don't want people just on their home computers that they share with their spouse and their kids and whomever else. You don't want all of your company information on that same computer. So it is a good idea for employers to make sure there's a dedicated computer for use for their company, for the company use. Make sure bandwidth is sufficient. If they have internet service already, then fine, you may have to increase the bandwidth. So maybe think about paying that extra fee. Cell phones, of course. Other things too. So those are just some of the areas that companies are already thinking about, and I think we'll continue to think about as we move forward, getting through the crisis and even beyond the crisis. I think that will be a shift in mentality and a shift in way of doing business.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Barry, because you know we've definitely had questions about that, and you know, so it's definitely important both from a privacy / confidentiality basis, as well as a productivity tool, you know, to make sure that your employees have the right equipment at home. I say from a privacy / confidentiality perspective, Barry's 100% right. if a person's using their personal computer and they have access to everything that your business has on their personal computer, and if you don't have an ability to monitor that, you are in danger. In that, okay, right now we're all smiling and saying, everybody's acting in goodwill and everybody's being kind, etc. But but before this whole coronavirus story hit, one of the most common issues that I've had to deal with over recent years is, what do I do? My employee, took my whole customer list and is starting out on his on his own, and then I'm asking questions about, do you have non-compete in place? Do you have a non-solicitation in place? Do you have a confidentiality agreement in place? And when the answer is no, my response is, well, you really had to be much more careful about protecting your data and much more careful about making sure that you have the right agreements in place. So this is a very key thing. So having a dedicated computer to your business that they can't copy things over and send it into their own private email because you're monitoring it. These are important things that there are people in this group who can help you with from an IT perspective and from a software perspective. But it's very important. I've also got questions recently. I'm wondering if you've got questions like this, Barry, as well. Obviously we're dealing with the firm community, and I've been told that some of my clients say to me, well, I want to continue operating remotely, but some of my firm employees don't want to have internet in their house, and what do I do? So, my answer is not so nice, but I'm wondering how you deal with that, Barry.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten that specific question. I've heard about it. Yeah, I think it's probably a similarly not nice question. Listen, if as an employer, listen, I have work for you to do. I'm offering you to do work for me. You're saying no, thank you, because you have an issue getting this work done because you don't want internet in your house. So then why am I paying you? Go file for unemployment. I'm offering you a job. You don't want the job. Now, the truth is, maybe you could even fight the unemployment and say, I'm offering you a job. You're leaving on your own. I don't know if I would go that far. That maybe you would say they should even say, why should I pay the unemployment? But yeah, I think if I'm offering you a job and you're saying no because whatever reason it is, I don't think that's necessarily a COVID-19 related reason. They're able to get the work done. They just don't want the internet in their house. I would say then, unfortunately, I think I have to lay you off. And then maybe that is unemployment eligible, maybe not even. I don't know.
Well, in today's environment, everybody's eligible for unemployment. So, I agree with you. I don't think I would counsel anybody to fight the unemployment, but I think you're right. I think that is the answer. That while I respect people's personal, religious choices, and certainly if the rub of your community or whoever you personally turn to for halachic advice tells you can't have internet in the house, then that's your personal choice. I've heard people raise it as a religious freedom issue, like, I have the right to practice my religion. You can't force me to have the internet in my house. And I have a similar response to what you just said, Barry, which is, you're right. No one's forcing you to take the internet into your house, but I also can't pay you to do a job that you're not doing because you won't have the internet at your house. Yeah. That is an interesting issue for our times.
If I can just say something, today Tag and other companies have some of the most amazing filters that when I try to just go to Pandora to listen to music, it completely locks you out. So anybody who has a problem with the internet is, sorry to say, is an amaretz, because you can go you can call half a dozen companies and they'll lock your computer where you can't see nothing except your work. It's just a matter of a little effort and a couple of questions to the right IT guy. So anybody who says they can't work from home because of the internet isn't doing their homework. I know some big rabbanim now who have internet in their house, but it's completely locked out, so they can't see anything inappropriate.
From an IT perspective, I want to add to that as well, that that the company themselves, if they're going to provide the laptop for security, that's a dedicated home work computer, they can also provide the security tools and the filtering that they need on that computer as well, and that should be part of the package that they're doing. And just like to add that.
Correct. I'm happy to take some additional questions if anybody has any questions.
Well, I'll ask you a question for a friend of mine who had to lay off all his employees in Manhattan, and he's saying that their benefits is to hire them back. I think if you're taking loans, I forgot what he said, and he's having a problem being that unemployment is so high, the benefits are so high. These employees that he's paying 30-something thousand and they're getting $1,000 a week, they don't want to come back. So it's a catch-22. What is he supposed to do?
That's a great question. Yes, and we've had people, asking these questions. So I'll just say a couple of things. One is that the unemployment benefit's not going to be higher than the person's salary was. So certainly if they were earning $35,000 before, they're not going to get $50,000 from unemployment. They're probably not going to get 100% from unemployment, even though politicians are promising it's going to be 100%. I highly doubt it's going to be 100%, but it will be very high. So for low wage earners, there really may not be an incentive to return to work if they're going to get these nice unemployment benefits. So that is a good point. The other thing that I'll say is, and I was asked this question several times over the past couple of days. Okay, I'm ready. I would like to bring my employees back and get the benefit of SBA loans and things like that. But there's no work. Can I just bring them back and put them on payroll if there's no work for them to do? And I honestly don't know the answer to that one. I'd be curious to see what as we learn more about how these new SBA loans and other loans and other grants are going to work, whether one can simply open just to be able to pay a payroll and keep things going, on the surface, but not actually doing any work. So it's a good question.
All right, if I can ask a question to either of you, there's a lot of people who are looking for resources, and there's a lot of information out there, and people don't know where to turn exactly and who's saying the right information. Is there any way that both of you can provide any resources that we could send out to the group of like real information that they could find, that's qualified information about, they can, whatever, any place that they can turn to, people who are struggling financially or their businesses are struggling, as far what their solutions are and how we can practically give them any answers that they can look into.
I'll just jump in quickly. I know there's a guy on LinkedIn. He puts a newsletter every day. And his name is Chaim Book. He puts out newsletters regularly. Follow him. He's got some great information.
Thank you for the plug, Barry.
Chaim, would you be able to give us at least send me something which I can send out to the email and the WhatsApp that people can find more information on?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say really, a couple of things. One is, I know we all generally have a suspicion as to whether a government does a good job on certain things. But one thing I will give a very big compliment to the New York State Department of Labor is that they really have a phenomenal website with lots of really helpful information, and you don't have to dig too deep to find it. If you go on nysdol.gov and you click on coronavirus or COVID-19, however they call it on their website, they have a wealth of information there in terms of what's available as far as relief, what obligations are, et cetera. And I really think they did a really phenomenal job of putting their information together. Then there are law firms other than our law firm that are monitoring the situation and have helpful pages. I'm hoping to have a call later this morning with a guy named Heshi Friedman to talk about updating our website and getting our new website up and running hopefully this week. And we will have a COVID-19 page which will have a lot of resources and a lot of helpful information there too.
Chaim, can you add that link from the New York State Department of Labor into the comments there? That way everybody can copy it.
Yeah, I would say to echo Chaim, it's always smarter to start at the top. Department of Labor, sort of straight from the source, is going to be a better source than, I used to say the guy next to you in shul, but I don't see the guy next to me in shul anymore. But even, your brother-in-law, who's I'm sure a great guy, it's start at the top, start with the DOL. If you still have questions, go to an employment attorney like Chaim Book or a lawyer. Again, the higher level of expertise you're going to get better information, and then work your way down from there. I would not start with your neighbor or the guy in shul or the brother-in-law. I would start at the DOL, work your way down from there.
Okay. At this point, if you guys are done with the presentation, let's just leave the questions open to anybody. Anybody who wants to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself, or just in the comments mention something. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions.
I just have to leave because I got to give my daughter the laptop. There's only so many around the house. So take care, guys.
My turn's going to be up soon too.
I wanted to say that it's not official, but I will be. We Smith and Associates will be hosting a similar session, live Q&A with David Smith next week. Hopefully next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna be posting the information on LinkedIn. You know what? I got that tissue out of my nose, so let me video so you can see my face.
Mandy, good to see you.
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, there he is.
Hey. So next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. Again, I'm going to be posting the information on LinkedIn, and feel free to submit questions beforehand. Again, all the information will be posted on LinkedIn. How to submit questions beforehand to make it a little more efficient. And the idea is, really. The title is Corona Crisis, your business versus the legal system. But point is, any legal questions, again, we'll do our best to answer them and see what you come up with.
Mendy, send me the information, that you have, and I'll send it out to the chat,
Definitely.
To the group.
Definitely.
Okay. Any other questions? Unmute yourself and feel free to ask. We're pretty much right on time here. It's 10 o'clock, but we can still take some questions if anyone else has any more. Okay. Anybody? Going once. Okay.
I just want to say one more thing, which is that I know that one of the founding members of this group is Yisrael Safran. I want to wish him condolences. Unfortunately, his wife passed away, and we wish him nechama and much simcha in the future.
Thank you. Maybe I can even get. I'll provide in the next email. I'll provide his email address if anybody wants to send him an email. I might, if I have his phone number, I'll provide that as well, just to our internal group, so that you could give him some tanchumin on the phone or email. Okay. So I guess I'll send out whatever information I have as a recap of this presentation. I will hopefully I should have a video from Zoom, and I'll go ahead and put this up. Chaim and Barry, if you're okay with that, to put this online. And if you have any objections, let me know. Otherwise, I'll put this up, and we can share this with our group and with anybody out there. It's helpful information. And I guess with that.
Actually, sorry, quick question. I'm not sure. I just had to check my text, but were you saying that you're going to put up this recording, or you're going to put up?
Yes, I have the video. I'll put up the video itself. I'll put up the.
That would be great, because I actually we have a client who was asking us about employment issues, so this would be great resource.
And I'll put up any information I get from Chaim and Barry in relation to the discussion that we just had. And I'll send it out to the email.
Thank you.
That's pretty much it. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and may we hear good things very soon. Everybody have a wonderful Pesach, Chakashu Sameach, and we'll follow up. We'll see what happens for our May meeting. I don't know if we'll do the same format. Hopefully we'll be back at our desks in health and everything. But if not, we'll have to, and if we're not, if we're still here, if we're still in the situation, we'll do the same thing again. We'll figure it out together. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your breakfast and stay safe.
Thank you, Heshi. Thank you, Chaim.
Thanks, Heshi.
Take care.
All right, Heshi.